Welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the future perfect continuous tense. Let's get started. Now we use the future perfect continuous when we describe an action, quite a long one that has begun sometime in the past, present, or future and is expected to continue in the future. Have a look at the example over here. When Peter turns 40, he will have been painting for 35 years. Now this sentence is in the future perfect continuous tense, and it's used to describe an action that has begun in the past and will continue in the future. Now to form the future perfect continuous tense, we use will plus have plus been plus verb ing. Have a look at the examples over here. Positive sentence. At 6 o'clock, I will have been waiting here for an hour. Or, at that time, I'll have been waiting here for an hour. Negative sentence. I won't have been waiting here for an hour at 6 o'clock. Question form. Will I have been waiting here for an hour at 6 o'clock? Now we use the future perfect continuous tense with by plus time expression. Have a look at the examples below. By 2025, he'll have been living in London for 10 years. We can also use the future perfect continuous tense with when, as soon as, before, by the time, etc. as in the example over here. When I completed my studies, I'll have been learning English for 17 years. Remember that non-continuous verbs such as to love, hate, know, want, etc. are not used in any continuous tenses. Now make sure to use the future perfect instead. Have a look at the examples below. In March, I'll have been knowing you for a year. Now this sentence would be incorrect because the verb know cannot be used in any continuous tenses. The correct form would be, in March, I'll have known you for a year. Now let's review and practice a bit. Remember that we use will plus have plus been plus verb ing to make sentences in the future perfect continuous. Now read the sentence below and provide the future perfect continuous form of the words in the bracket. Make sure to use contracted forms. I to live in this country for 5 years in February. I'll have been living in this country for 5 years in February. Also remember that we form questions by inverting the subject and will, and we form negatives by using not. Now read the sentences below and provide the future perfect continuous form of the words in the bracket, and make sure to use contracted forms. When I come home at 7, you to do your homework for a long time? I not to do my homework for a long time at 7. When I come home at 7, will you have been doing your homework for a long time? I won't have been doing my homework for a long time at 7. Also remember that we use by plus time expression to show that the situation has begun sometime in the past, present, or future and is expected to continue in the future. Now read the sentence below and provide the future perfect continuous form of the words in the bracket. By this time next year, Kelly to work on her presentation for a month. By this time next week, Kelly will have been working on her presentation for a month. Also remember that we use time markers to emphasize the duration of the action. Now read the sentence below and provide the future perfect continuous form of the words in the bracket. Next month, I to study here for 3 years. Next month, I'll have been studying here for 3 years. Note that non-continuous verbs are not used in continuous tenses. Now provide the correct form of the sentence below. By this time next year, I will have been wanting to start my own business for a decade. By this time next year, I will have wanted to start my own business for a decade. Here is a short story using the future perfect continuous tense. Listen as I read so you can see how they are used in real-life conversation. After I'm done, make sure you understand all the grammar and read aloud yourself so that you can work on your own fluency and pronunciation. I've just realized that by the time they finish their trip, they'll have been hiking for more than 25 days. Yeah, I know. And they won't have been sleeping in bed or having a shower in almost a month. Yeah, well, at least they won't be that picky about the food then. When we pick them up, they'll have been eating canned food for weeks. Maybe taking them straight to the buffet is a better idea.